Hey everyone, this is Mr. Nutrition from Metaburn Fitness, and I just got off the phone with an amazing person, Justine Moore, who is an NPC bikini model and also fitness model. Justine has so much passion for just inspiring women, inspiring people, transforming bodies, and main thing you'll hear in the call is appreciating and loving your body. So can't wait to share this with you guys. It's about a 22 to 25-minute interview. We go over strategies from fat loss to confidence to body images and how to just kind of overcome all that. And we also talk about, Justine's accomplishments as a personal trainer, coach, and also as an athlete. So looking forward to this, guys. Make sure to check her out at justinefit.com. And here's the interview. Take care. Hey everyone, this is Mr. Nutrition from Metaburn Fitness, and I have a very special guest today, Justine Moore. Justine Moore is an NPC bikini model and also fitness model. So Justine, I just want to welcome to the call and thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Awesome, and just to kind of give a brief overview of what's going to happen on this call today, granted, yes, we're going to talk about fitness, we're going to talk about fat loss and how to shape your body up, transform your body, but more importantly, just from Justine's story, and she'll tell you a little bit about that in a second, it's more about body image, accepting who you are, and in a sense, kind of how to love yourself as a woman. And Justine will go over a lot of stuff with you guys as far as strategies, tips, and all that fun stuff. So what I always like to start off with, Justine, is kind of going over, your brief accomplishments as a bikini model. Like, what have you accomplished in, the last few years over your career?
I've competed in 16 shows to date, over 4 years, and a lot of my shows I've placed a good amount of times. I did take the overall title, first place in overall, in New York. It was at the end of 2012, and a lot of my shows, it's just kind of working my way up the ladder as far as competing and getting better and better. One of my biggest personal achievements was getting signed as a official metrics athlete. So I'm endorsed with metrics, and that was a very exciting thing for me. And I'm also a personal trainer and nutrition coach. I've actually been doing that even longer for 6 years now. So I've had a lot of success with that too, and helping clients transform their lives and bodies just like I have my own.
That's fantastic. So you took your passion for competing and took it right over to personal training, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So now there's always a time in an athlete's life where they say, I'm just going to put everything on the line, I'm just going to do this. What was your inspiration to say, I'm just going to compete and I'm going to get this going?
Well, like I said, I actually started out as a personal trainer, but I felt like even as a trainer, as much as I knew, I felt like I still didn't have the body I wanted. And I kind of wanted to get into the type of shape that clients would just be like, all right, I want to train with her. And I wanted to really motivate and inspire my clients. So after I had finished college, I went and watched a bodybuilding show in the fall of 2009, it would have been. And then at that point, from then on, like that was on a Saturday. The next day I started training. I trained 6 months for my first show, which was April of 2010.
That's fantastic. And usually it's all it takes to kind of see one of those shows. You're inspired by all the women and men who put all that hard work on stage. So that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so now the interesting thing is when people look at you now and when they look at other athletes, they assume like, oh, well, Justine's just special, she has great genetics, she was built for this or whatever. I actually read a little bit about your story, about your background. Can you just go over the challenges you had to face as a woman growing up, whether it's through college, high school, and even after college? What were the challenges that you faced before you became, the Justine Moore, the athlete right now?
Yeah. A lot of times, like you said, people look at me and just assume I'm kind of naturally fit or naturally thin. That's not the case at all. As a child, I was actually overweight, and I was always picked last in gym class. I couldn't run a mile straight growing up. I was terrible in all athletics. So it's kind of funny, if you would have told my parents when I was growing up that I would eventually be an endorsed athlete, like they would have laughed. But because of that, as a kid and as a female, especially growing up, feeling like the fat girl, I think that really got in my head. So through most of high school and college, I was always going on all these crazy diets, yo-yo dieting, and I would be really, really extreme. And then the problem with diets is they start and they end. And, typically it's not something that you can maintain. So the diet would fail. I would get frustrated, kind of binge eat. And it was a pretty vicious cycle for a long time, struggling with the food issues and the body image issues. And then that's actually how I found my way into fitness is I was getting back into the gym, working out at the gym. It was my second year in college, and I wanted a gym membership, and my dad was like, well, I'm not paying for that. Why don't you see if they're hiring? So I did, and I got hired for front desk at a gym here on Long Island. And that's when I really started talking to the trainers there and learning a lot more about strength training and proper nutrition and everything like that. And finally, it all just clicked. It was like the right way to be able to control my body and control my weight, but in a healthy way. So that's really where it all kind of came together for me.
That's fantastic. And is there anyone in this fitness industry that you really look up to as far as where you get your nutrition information from, your lifestyle or your fitness? Is there anyone that you can kind of point out right now, or?
I've been blessed to work with a lot of really great people. My very first coach was Brenda Ray. She's a all-natural professional women's bodybuilding champion, and she was fantastic. I still actually agree with a lot of her philosophies that she taught me. I've gotten to work a lot with Frank Seppi through Metrics on the Metrics magazine and also the Metrics 180 program, and he's fantastic. He's written so many books over the years, and all that information still today. It's fundamentals, but I really, really believe in that when it comes to nutrition and training. So those are two people that have definitely impacted my career and my philosophies a lot.
Awesome, which is great, which is going to lead us right into that segue into that segment right there. So we're in the present moment right now. What main fitness and nutrition philosophies do you live by or do you teach your clients?
I'm really a big believer in giving your body the fuel it needs, mostly using all natural foods, avoiding processed stuff as much as possible. All the chemical additives and sweeteners and all the artificial ingredients, that's really what's causing so many health problems these days and a lot of weight problems too. So I'm a big believer. I don't believe in low carb, low fat, anything like that. I like balance in nutrition with the proper kinds of carbs and fats and balance for your body throughout the day. So I do personally, there's mixed opinions. I personally like smaller meals, broken up meals and snacks throughout the day. I think it keeps the blood sugar levels more stable, keeps your energy levels stable, and also just to take in the proper amount of protein. I recommend people take in about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight at least. Mm-hmm. So to get that kind of protein, our bodies can only absorb so much at one time. So that's why it's actually much more beneficial to split that up through the day instead of trying to take in 50 grams at a time. We can't really digest that. So I'm a big believer in 5 to 6 smaller meals through the day.
That's fantastic. And a lot of coaches, they tend not to kind of take that approach, but I guess because it doesn't always have this sexy appeal to it when we talk about balance. I believe a lot in balance from life to fitness to nutrition. But a lot of people have to take the stance of like extreme low carbs, or extreme low fat, or extreme high protein levels. So that's great that you have that philosophy because it really helps a lot of people and to adapt to that,
Yeah, exactly. Even I know one big thing is people always say, oh, I thought I couldn't have fruit, especially with contest prep. People are like, oh, I thought, no fruit, it has sugar, but it's natural sugar. So if you're eating it at the right times, like pre and post workout or first thing in the morning, our bodies recognize that. As long as the food is natural, our bodies can process it and digest it properly. It's when we start adding in, like I said, all those chemicals and the artificial stuff that our bodies get mixed up, and that's where problems really start.
Okay, that's awesome. So before we even go into, all the problems and body image that women are facing, can you give me like a brief, so when you compete, what's a brief example of what you do nutrition-wise, to keep your balance?
Competing definitely is a little more extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things I take out. I do eat fruit right up until the week of a show usually. I usually don't eat a lot of dairy. I'll take that out. And normally, I don't like to use the word diet with my clients. I think of it more as a lifestyle. But when I'm getting ready to compete, it is a diet. It's very rigid and pretty much the same thing every day. So I usually start about 12 to 14 weeks out before my competition day. And the starting diet usually includes a lot more foods, more variety, everything like that. I didn't used to do cheat meals. Now I tend to do a free meal or a cheat meal about once a week. And then depending on how I'm coming along, we make adjustments along the way. So, a couple weeks ago, I wanted to lean out a little more. So I had a red meat meal of bison. I took that out. Each week we make adjustments as I get closer to the show. where the diet kind of gets stripped down, carbs might come down. I carb cycled a lot during this. So it really just depends on how I'm looking, how I'm feeling, and so on.
That's fantastic. You know, so you have an exact plan of attack to kind of get to your show. And how long is your show away from you right now?
Right now, it's 3 weeks from Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. That's great stuff for you. All right, so let's kind of go more into the bigger picture of women. So there's obvious that, you know, from the women that we coach, women that you coach, women all over the world, there's major challenges and problems that they see within themselves or they see within their bodies. What do you think are some major challenges and problems that women are facing today?
I think for starters, there's just so much pressure placed on women to look a certain way. I think in general, our society, if a man is maybe overweight or not nice looking, but he's smart and he's hardworking or he's funny, that's okay. And I think for women, even if you look at, you know, in the media, there's very few women who are in Hollywood or on TV that are overweight. And those few that are usually, you know, constantly harassed about it. So I think for women, a lot of pressure is placed on looking good, and that's where we are supposed to get our value from. So I think right there, and then you add in, you know, things like airbrushing and stick thin models and retouching all these images, and then not only is there a lot of pressure placed on women to look good, it's to look a certain way, and a lot of times those pictures we're looking at, it's really not attainable, it's not realistic. No one really looks like that 365 days a year. There's a lot that goes into these pictures and ads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where it just, you know, like I said, it's a lot of pressure, and women put that on themselves to be perfect all the time, and that just whole host of body image issues.
For sure. And so off topic on this one, because this is always curious, because I see there's a lot of battling back and forth in the industry on this one. Do you feel the Fitspiration pictures online on Facebook with the quotes and the really fit women are inspirational, or do you feel like that's adding to the problem of women being pressured to look a certain way?
It's funny because I do ask myself that a lot. I got in this business to inspire people, to help people. That's where I get my satisfaction from.
Mm-hmm.
None of my pictures are ever retouched or photoshopped or anything like that. So I do feel that, like, for me, growing up, I was not an athlete. I didn't really start working out until a couple of years ago. And I feel like if I can reshape my body, then anyone else can. So, you know, putting my pictures out there that are 100% real and it's my hard work, I'm proud of that, and I do feel like it inspires. But I do see the conflict, because even with like my competition pictures, like my body, we do a lot of things, even play with water and stuff like that, and there's a tan. There's a lot that goes in that lasts 1 or 2 weeks when I'm preparing for a photo shoot or a competition. So even for me, my body does not look competition ready 365 days a year. So I like to post pictures along the way, progress pictures. You know, no one wants to show themselves out of shape, but I do try to make a point to kind of show different looks and just show people, you know, I'm not ripped and, you know, super low body fat all the time. It's like I said, it's not realistic or attainable for women. But I do see what you're saying, and I do think, you know, sometimes even as a fitness model, I'll scroll through my Instagram and I'm like, man, you know, you're looking at all these ripped bodies and you're like, oh, I got to get on it. Like, you know, you start to kind of feel bad. So I do see where that happens. And I think a lot of times for women, it can be detrimental. And that's why I try to have them focus more on how they're feeling, how their workouts make them feel, and not always be so obsessed with just what things look like. Because when you just start feeling good and training for the right reasons, and you feel happy and good about yourself, your body actually does change. Where the mind leads, the body will follow. So if your mind is in this negative place of feeling bad about yourself or not feeling good enough, your body really responds to that. You'll even see it in posture and everything like that, like the way a woman carries herself. So I do think it's important to focus on other things and not just be obsessed with those Fitspo type of pictures.
100% agreed. That's a great response to that, because again, I kind of go back and forth. I think they're great, but at the same time to be careful. But what you just said right there is you gave people the truth that I don't look this way all year round, 365 days. You know, most people don't know that truth. People think that competitors are like this for every year in and year out, and they're just doing it with ease. But, you know, knowing the truth on that, it gives them kind of an ease that they don't have to be that person every single day, and what it takes to kind of be a competitor versus just a natural person who wants to lose some weight. So
Yeah, definitely.
great stuff. So with these challenges, so with the pressure, body image, and everything, are there any, like, what's your top 2 to 3 strategies that you have for women? They can be lifestyle strategies, they can be nutrition, exercise, supplement. What are your top 2 or 3 strategies that you would tell a woman to overcome the pressure, or overcome the body image, or overcome a transformation?
For one, just I think working out is so helpful for a couple of reasons. It gives you that endorphin boost, so it actually does change your mood. Sometimes if I am feeling down, you kind of want to just get into that self-pity thing where you want to sit on the couch, eat Ben and Jerry's. But if you get up and and you do something, you go to the gym. Like I always leave the gym feeling with a feeling of more self-confidence than I came in. And sometimes it's good when you're working out, or I recently started yoga, actually last July I started doing it. Sometimes if you take a moment and you appreciate what your body is capable and kind of capable of, and appreciate your body for strength and appreciate your good health and everything like that, it really helps you to start loving your body more. So I really try to tell women to do that. Or a lot of my clients will come in and as we're training, they're like, oh, you know, my arm's jiggling here and there. And I'll be like, hey, there's a new rule. There's none of that, like no negative self-talk. So every time you find your head going to that place, like, oh, my lower abs look fat or this or that, you reset your mind completely, you know, throw out those bad thoughts and then take some time to focus on the things you do appreciate about your body, whether it's something small like your collarbones or you have great eyebrows, even something small, if that's what it takes to get started. But start appreciating your looks and your body for what you have right now. I think that's really, really big. And like I said too, that combined with working out and trying to challenge yourself and push yourself to a new level. Like for instance, I love doing sprints, and I will mark down my progress week to week and get faster or run on a higher incline every week. And that too, when you can achieve something new with your body, it gives you a different appreciation, so that you really start to love your body again for what it's capable of, and stop focusing so much on what it looks like.
And that's fantastic. I think you hit the nail on the head with all that, as far as appreciating your body and daily giving yourself some type of gratification of what you're achieving, what you're looking forward to doing. So is there a book that you go to for inspiration, for motivation, to kind of help you appreciate life or appreciate your body more? Is there anything that you kind of refer back to, or?
I make a habit of reading self-help books pretty much all the time. A lot of times they're not necessarily fitness related, but they all the concepts work with fitness and with your body. So I really love The Secret, The Law of Attraction. If you haven't read it, it's a life changer. I love The Power of Positive Thinking. And then anything by Wayne Dyer. Also right now I'm reading, now I forget the name, Excuses Be Gone is the one. But really, all of those have a lot of good concepts, the same kind of concepts for, you know, appreciating life and having gratitude and everything like that. And again, just finding that happiness and being happy in the moment with what you are right now in the present moment, and not always focusing on, you know, negativity or worrying about the future. Refer back to just, you know, in general, to get into the right mind frame for life and fitness as well.
That's awesome. And it just tells people that, you know, that it's a lot more than just fitness and nutrition. You know, the fact that you read that much and you really ingrain in your mind the positive thinking, the appreciation and everything, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to put you on the spot, because sometimes this question can be a little hard for people to answer. You know, you've created an elite body for yourself, and women, men, they probably see a perfect body. Is there anything growing up or even going through your, you know, competing, that you've seen imperfections in yourself? And if so, how did you appreciate the beauty or the strength behind what you saw?
I still struggle with it every day, to be honest.
Okay.
I think a lot of times growing up the way I did, you know, not ever thinking I was pretty or, you know, in good shape or whatever, those kind of things, they are deep-seated things in your mind. So that's why I really do spend a lot of time, you know, with the self-help mentalities and stuff like that, and trying to change my mindset, because I've seen what the power of the proper mindset can really do, and a good attitude and positive attitude. So I find myself, I fall into that rut sometimes. Like I talked about, I'm not in contest shape all the time. So sometimes I'll do a bunch of shows back to back, and then eventually I take a break. And with that break, I put on a little body fat, and it's easy to start feeling bad about yourself. So I try to always go back to those same things. One thing that's really, really helped me is the yoga, like I said, taking that time out, things like meditation. I'm very, very into my faith personally, and all those things have really helped me to just kind of put things in perspective and say it's okay. Like you don't have to look perfect, you don't have to look stage ready every day, and just focusing on leading a good life and a happy life, and also helping others. That's why I love what I do, and teaching other people how to change their lives with fitness and health and everything like that has really, really helped me.
It's great, and you can tell you're a very passionate coach. You can tell you really love your clients and you love what you do, which is awesome. And it's great to hear that passion behind, because you don't really get a chance to speak to a lot of people that really care. I hear a lot of fluff in the industry and a lot of just not more negative things. So it's always great to connect with a person like yourself. So, so now we're gonna blitz through. So I posted up your picture, one of your pictures actually, on Facebook. There was a lot of excitement around it, and I said, hey, if there's any questions you guys want me to ask Justine, just let me know. So I'm just going to ask you quick 4 questions, and then just give me your best responses to them. So we have from one woman, she says, what's best for cellulite without surgery?
For cellulite, one thing that I've really, really noticed is, nutrition and strength training combined is phenomenal for women. So right away when I started strength training, I definitely saw everything tighten up, like my skin tighten up, and I had a lot less cellulite. And then also I know with my contest prep, I used to take in a lot of artificial sweeteners. I was like, oh, it's diet, it's fine, it's no calories. But all those little sweeteners and the chemical additives, they kind of sit under your skin because your body, again, doesn't know how to process them. So I found, like, when I'm getting ready for a competition or a photo shoot, I'll even cut out chewing gum, like sugar-free gum, I'll cut it out. I don't really have a lot at all, and even things like a Splenda and a coffee, like all those artificial sweeteners, when I cut them out, I see a big difference, like in right under my skin, and any little bit of cellulite that might be there, it kind of just sucks up and disappears when I take those out. So in general, I would say really, really avoiding artificial sweeteners and chemical additives and preservatives.
Awesome. So now the next question is kind of similar, but in more of an exercise-based way. So it says, what is the best exercise or way to hide my cottage cheese on the back of my legs in a natural way?
Again, strength training, when you build muscle on the body actually burns fat. So I would say on the back of the legs specifically, doing a lot of hamstring exercises like stiff leg deadlifts and heavy leg curls, things like that. Heavy strength training will build your legs so they end up being a lot tighter and a lot more shapely. A lot of times women are kind of freaked out by heavy strength training. They think they just want to lift light weights and tone. It doesn't work that way. And if you look at my pictures, I've been lifting as heavy as possible for 5 years now, and I'm clearly not, bulky or manly or anything like that. So I would definitely suggest that. Another thing I forgot to mention also with the cellulite, one really good thing for all over the body is like body brushing with like an exfoliating brush. It gets circulation to your skin, so it actually helps with that too. It's a little trick.
Awesome. That's great. It's tricks that some women have that us men were like, I don't really know what to do for that. So it's great that you said that. So now this is a great question. Abs. What can a busy mom do to get amazing abs? I know it's a tough question because it can be very broad range, but what's your best answer for that?
Yeah, the first thing I always say when people give me any kind of questions with abs or midsection, nutrition. There's the saying in fitness that abs are made in the kitchen. And a lot of times people don't want to hear that. They just want one simple exercise. But I cannot stress enough how big nutrition is, especially in your abs and midsection. I've had friends that have done like little, 30-day things, fitness models and stuff like that. They've gone 30 days and not trained their abs, but kept their nutrition on point. And you can see it, like for the fat there that's covering most of our abs, it's got to be proper nutrition. As far as exercises, planks, hanging leg raises, also sprints are really, really amazing for losing fat in the midsection. When you're sprinting, you don't realize how much of your core you're using and your obliques, everything. So very, very intense sprints. I like to do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. That also really helps burn fat in the midsection and the abs.
Awesome, fantastic. So now this next question is very similar to this, but I guess I'll take a different approach on this. So she says, how do you get abs after 2 C-sections? Now, if that woman came to you, would there be a certain coaching style that you would do with her, or would there be something that you would have to tell her to, I guess, the truth more about C-sections and what you can do with that? Or like, what's your approach on that?
Well, I do not have children, but I have a lot of clients who are losing that fat post-pregnancy or after C-sections, and you can get your abs back. It is hard because a lot of times they do cut into part of the abs. One thing also that's really, really important, especially with lower abs, is making sure your hip flexors and your psoas muscles, the whole front of the body, are not too tight, because your abs can't really develop if all of that is too tight. Our whole body works together. So there's certain moves that I've learned in yoga practice. Again, one is a fixed firm, where you'll sit on the floor, you kind of sit W, and you lean back and you stretch your hip flexors and your abdominal muscles, everything like that. There's a lot of good exercises, even a full cobra where you're coming up. Anything that's going to stretch out, like I said, the front of the body and it will elongate, that will definitely help, especially post-surgery.
Awesome. That's great stuff. And that's kind of, where the whole interview was going to lie on. And I appreciate everything you just gave right now. It's been a blast talking to you. You have great information. And like I said, it's always awesome to be able to connect with people like you of your caliber that really care and that really want to inspire people what they're doing by bettering themselves to better other people. So is there anything that you want to leave these women with, as far as a quote, a saying, a last-minute statement? Like, what do you want to leave people with?
I guess I always tell people, believe in yourself and, work hard and see that end result. And you have to really believe you're going to get there. I always tell clients that whether they're going for weight loss or they're doing contest prep, you have to envision yourself reaching your goal, and you have to believe it with every ounce of you to actually reach it. Like I said, where the mind leads, the body will follow. So, whatever it is, don't be afraid to set your goals high and work hard towards them, but also really, really have faith that you can, and you will get there. And like I said, the body will follow. So
awesome. Fantastic. Now, I want our women, subscribers, clients, viewers to get access to your information, to find out where you are. If they want to know more about you, whether it's Facebook, email, website, are there any information where you can tell them about that?
Yes, the easiest thing to do is just go to my website. It's JustineFit, JustineFit.com, JustineFit.com. And everything is on there. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, it's my email. Everything is connected on there. So if you go on there, you can access me through any of those accounts.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, Justine, I truly appreciate your time, and I hope to connect with you, somewhere in the near future as well, and just to kind of keep this relationship going. And then again, we can probably, hopefully down the line, do another interview and just really tackling on, more issues, challenges that women are facing. So again, thanks so much for your time.